Hi dear friends, I'm standing outside the Festhalle here in Frankfurt, where I just spent the past 2.5 hours inside the concert of Roger Waters. I'll tell you honestly, I think the concert was boring. The music, as a child, I was inside the concert of Pink Floyd, The Wall, and I really enjoyed the concert at the time. I was one of the key people protesting the upcoming concert of Roger Waters when it was still in the planning. And since November, we were fighting hard for the concert not to take place in Frankfurt. The reason why we did not want it to take place was not only because of the anti-Semitism which Roger Waters has been spreading in all of his concerts, the NS comparisons, his Nazi uniforms, etc. But we also didn't particularly want it inside the Festhalle, which has a Nazi history. It was a hall used for propaganda purposes by the Nazis. It's also the hall where 3,000 Jews were deported to death camps. I consider our protest to be a success in many respects. Number one, Roger Waters did not put on his Nazi uniform. He decided that he would take a much softer stand. He left out some of the propaganda that he had in his other shows, and that is a success. There was the pig was flying, and there were political messages, but to a much lesser extent than he did in previous shows. Apart from that, the concert itself, as I said, was boring. The songs were lame. His messaging in between was boring. His slogans were boring. The Anne Frank comparison that he had in previous shows was also in this show, unfortunately so, and we couldn't stop that. But it was short, and he kept it brief. I guess he was afraid that the city of Frankfurt would actually interrupt his concert and would stop him, and he did not want that to happen. In addition to that, the special effects, again, were also boring. It was loud. The songs, in my opinion, were most certainly not the best of his songs. And there was way too much politics. The big screens were overwhelming. The fact that the guy is getting old was visible. The fact that he was drinking in the show was visible. And who needs it? Seriously. Even if I was a fan of Pink Floyd, like somebody was telling me in the break, that was the reason why he went in there and he didn't care for the political messaging, that was the wrong concert to go to. Buy a good CD of Pink Floyd, listen to the old songs, but most certainly do not visit these concerts. Now, the great news is that we had a wonderful special effect early on in the show where a group of us held up an Israeli flag and somebody went on stage with an Israeli flag. The shocking thing was that the people attacking us were not the policemen and other security guys inside the hall. It was the audience, and they were violent. They were literally dragging, kicking the chairs, pulling hair, attacking us. It was unbelievable how violent they were. They tried to rip up the Israeli flag, threw an Israeli flag across the hall, screaming, shouting, kicking, boxing even, women and men alike. Terrible, absolutely shocking. Our group was split up, so we had 8 people who were willing to put up a message, a political message with an Israeli flag, peacefully but visibly, while the others, 2 of us, were documenting what was going on inside the hall.
Thank you to a wonderful team. Thank you for coming to Frankfurt especially for this. And thank you for standing up for Israel and for the Jewish people.